Okay, we are now joined by the second and third place finishers of today's Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum, and that is Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. If you have any questions for either of these gentlemen, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. We'll go straight to questions. We'll start here up front with John.
Thank you. JohnNewbyHeavy.com. So 2 years in a row, you both have been up here, second and third place finishers. I mean, this year you swapped. Why is it that you guys are doing so well at this track? Because I know, Kyle, you've talked about just stacking momentum all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know what it is, but, you just sometimes drivers will take to places. But, this place here being a short track, me growing up short track racing with some of the late models and stuff that I've done, I've been to a lot of places like this, Legends cars as well, too, over the years. But I'm sure many of those guys out there have as well, whether it been dirt, whether it been pavement. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, having good stuff obviously helps. Last year, being in the JGR stuff, we were really fast. Our teammates were terrible. This year, now our teammates are good. We got beat, or the JGR cars were good. We got beat by one of them. But, Austin and I worked hard today on, A, working together, but B, all the information to put ourselves in the best possible spot. So, good collaboration between the RCR bunch.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Kyle said. I mean, it was really fun. Our car was really good. It really kind of turned on that last practice. We figured out that our car was pretty good in the long run. We're able to qualify decent, which is good for us. I'm not a great qualifier usually at the short tracks, and felt like if we could just maintain, we'd have a shot. Kyle helped me there at the end. He knew we had a fast car, so let me try and get a shot at Martin, and that was nice. And so hopefully I can pay back the favor. We go to Daytona and work together well, and it's a great start for all of us. But as far as the track question and being up here, I'll give a shout out to all my Bowman Gray boys back in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I grew up going there and watching that place, and this is about as close as it gets to Bowman Gray Stadium.
We'll go Jeff, Jordan, and then we'll take one from upstairs.
How'd you get back up through the field when you were totally spun out and in the back?
I passed them, Jeff.
No, not everybody could do that.
I don't know. Just, I felt like in the first 50 laps of the race, we've had probably a third place car, and then we kind of tapered off after the long run a little bit there in the first half, and we worked on the car. We made it better in the second half, but never really had an opportunity to show it, getting dumped by the 22. So then we had to turn around and just try to work through traffic. A lot of guys were getting bottled up on the bottom. I'd go high, go around a few of them. Then they'd start blocking high because they'd see that. So I would cross over and get underneath them and move them back up the track in order to get, where I wanted to run, where my car was best. So just, some of the guys in front of me, some cautions. Obviously, there was some more there towards the end, guys spinning. A lot of guys, more contact as the end of the race happened. And, not just one would wash out, like two or three would get washed out. So you could pick off a couple at a time.
The other thing I wanted to ask both of you is, in a race like this where the whole field is getting physical, like everybody's bumping everybody, is there different standards of what would make somebody super mad or carry over a feud to the next race? If everybody's doing it, is it more acceptable, or are people still going to have those same memories that they would if it was just any other race?
I mean, I think everybody knows here that there's going to be contact. The first 30 laps my head was against the headrest probably every lap. I mean, it was just bang, bang. I mean, back and forth every corner. I couldn't believe how aggressive it was the first run. There was nothing but just hammer each other and hope to come out the other side. I got hit one time at the end. I was telling Kyle when we got back in line. I mean, it knocked the wheel out of my hands. Couldn't believe it, and just kind of picked up the gas and then caught it back. But you're taking some pretty good blows out there and trying to stay calm. Martin got mad at me one time, and it was the 24 driving through me. The hard part is knowing if it's the guy behind you or if it's the guy two behind you or even three. So, you got to have a short memory about it. Obviously, Bubba knocked me through the corner. I was going to hit him back. Didn't mean to turn him like that, but when it gets down to the end of that, I think everybody knows what's going on, and that's what you see at places like this and Bowman Gray Stadium.
Jordan.
Yeah, Logano didn't get hit by nobody. He just flat out drove through me. So he's got another one coming. I owe him a few.
Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. For both of you, last year it seemed to be an unqualified. This race was widely praised, and it seemed like it was an overall success. I'm wondering this year, what your impressions are. Is it you feel like the same level of, I don't know, happiness or excitement coming out of here as last year, or different thoughts?
I mean, last year's show I felt like was relatively clean and good racing, some bumping, some banging, but we could run long stretches of green flag action. Where today was, I would call it a disaster with just the disrespect from everybody of just driving through each other and not, just letting everything kind of work its way out. But I mean, it's a quarter mile. It's tight quarters racing. Actually, this is probably how it should have gone last year. So we got spoiled with a good show the first year. So maybe this was just normal.
Yeah, and everybody's gotten a little better since last year, so the parity wasn't really. It was close. It was close. There's a lot of fast guys, and then the little bit, if you are faster than someone, you kind of have to bump them. You know what I mean? Because they can kind of check up on the exit of the corner and stop you. So it's if you get that run and you're there, you kind of have to use it or be used.
Would you guys like to see it come back here for year 3?
I don't care. I'll be here wherever we got to go.
I think we both would like to be in the one position, and that's what I've learned from Kyle in a short period of time. We got to win, so that's the main goal.
We were damn close to starting it off right out of the gate. So next week.
We'll go upstairs for a question.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. That's kind of along those lines, the expectation you guys have for going forward. Can you gauge what it could be like from this race and how you guys are going to work together as teammates? Because kind of the storyline tonight would be you guys running second and third.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a story of that where we've been working well together this whole weekend, off the track, on the track, and having the opportunity of being able to take care of one another on a couple of those restarts. The 3 would be easy off the corner and give me a gap to be able to get down, and some other stuff that we did too. So yeah, I mean, that's just a good omen for great teamwork and good sportsmanship from the two of us. So let's keep that rolling.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think the other good part is some of the things that we like in a race car. What I was excited about, because I've watched Kyle's data over the years and some of the stuff that the way he approaches the setup of a car and things, I think we're actually pretty close. Like our delta will be close, so that's nice to be able to hopefully work off of that, and we're only going to be able to build off of that as we go and find those places that, when we have a good run, where do I need to be setup-wise compared to him to echo that.
Come back down here to Michael. Front row.
Michael Matthews, front stretch. Kyle, this was your first race having Richard Childress, in your ear when an incident happens. He's not the owner that's going to talk you down. He's just as fired up as you are, probably. What was that like inside the car?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's cool. It's a. Rick would get on the radio just a little tiny bit when I was at Hendrick, and then Joe, he never got on the radio. I think they disconnected his button. A long time ago they did that, but yeah, Richard, I know he's prone to key up a little bit here now and again, so that was fine, and he come on the radio and he goes, he just flat out drove through you. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I mean, well,
he tells me that.
Trust me, I started behind him a couple times on restarts, and I never really got a great chance. I probably could have, but it was more important to go forward than retaliate. So I don't think that there's a lot of others that thought that way. Look at where they finished.
And then Austin, did you and Bubba get a chance to talk before you came in here, or is it?
No, I'm sure we will. Hate it for him because he was really good. We were a little better on the long run, and I got by him pretty clean the first time, and I chose the restart there behind Martin, thinking that if we could get off 2 and then I could just race, but it just doesn't go that way. I mean, you're just getting beat, and then when we went through 1 and 2, I mean, I got crossed up. I thought I was going to wreck into the inside wall, and I got hit, and then my spotters told me to release the brake, and got shoved all the way to the 3rd lane outside. So after that, he said 3 wide, I think one time, 2 wide, and then I mean, yeah, it was probably pretty frustrated at that point.
Take one more from upstairs.
Hey guys, Jenna Fryer, AP. Bubba got hit in the back of the car early in the race, and he complained over his radio. He said, "Hey NASCAR, it still hurts," with some expletives. I'm wondering if you guys took any hits in the back and what it felt like, if it felt any better, worse, different, anything.
I mean, truthfully, it didn't really feel much different at that speed, and just the bumper car action that you get through the middle of the corner. I mean, yeah, like Austin said, you know, when you get hit a few times, your head's getting jammed in the back of the headrest, and you know you're getting the whiplash effect. But you know what the damage to the cars looks like front and rear underneath, you have no idea. But it's still a brunt of a hit. But if we had the old cars that we used to have, nobody'd have a radiator left. I think half the field would be parked in the infield. Might not be a bad thought, but get some of those squirrels out of there. But yeah, I mean, it's a necessary evil, you know, to the fronts. For as hard of a shots as some of the guys were taking, you know, Bubba's bumper, you could see the damage that he had to it. So he might have been one of the one that got hit the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't feel good. I think the positive part is, you know, NASCAR's showed us things that they're trying to do to help that area of the car for the low speed impacts, the lower speed impacts. And, you know, we're making progress. That's the biggest thing.
Any final questions for Austin or Kyle? I'll wrap it up here with Jeff.
Just real quick, I just want to clarify. So you feel like there were so many more cautions tonight because the field is more even this year, and so really the only way to get past someone is to just kind of move somebody out of the way. Is that's the primary reason it looked like that?
I would, yeah. I mean, everybody's learned a lot from last year. I mean, there was quite a bit of bad cars last year.
The 19 was one of them.
Yeah, the 19, yeah.
Last in the race.
It's a great example. So last to first, and you know, just when the field's that tight and you have a little bit of advantage, the only way to do something is kind of, you can try and cross them up, but then they can pinch you down the straightaway here, and then you'll lose whatever run you had.
Awesome, Kyle. Congratulations on your medals. Great run. Appreciate your time. Okay, if you have a question for Alex Bowman, our fourth place finisher, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Start up here in the front with John.
JohnNewbyHeavy.com. How did you avoid the chaos and the carnage?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple good restarts from the outside. The beginning of the second half of the race when we had to restart every half a lap, that helped us. I think we went from like 8th to 2nd there pretty quickly, and obviously that was a big gain for us. And then just kind of got put back a little bit. I had one bad restart from the outside of the front row, and that hurt our finishing position. But yeah, really good race car, and those couple restarts kind of got us out of the mess.
Then just following up, I mean, how was the first race with Blake?
Yeah, I mean, I think it went pretty well. You know, we struggled here last year. Didn't have a good weekend, and you know, I was nervous a little bit and didn't know what to expect. But yesterday went really well. Today went pretty well. So definitely, when you come out of here with 4th, kind of bummed about it. It's a good weekend. So yeah, I mean, I think the whole team's working really well together, and Blake's fitting in really, really well.
Go here to Jordan in the back.
What did you think of this year's event versus compared to last year in terms of kind of the overall scope of it?
It's pretty cool to be in it this year instead of on the way to the airport. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great event. It's a great atmosphere. It's tough when it takes 45 minutes to make like 6 laps or whatever that was, right? That was pretty bad when we were just crashing and crashing and crashing. But I feel like last year's feature was a little bit cleaner than this year's for whatever reason. But yeah, I think it's a great event, and cool to be part of it.
What was the reason for the rash of cautions, from your opinion? I mean, last year you said was was cleaner, but this year there was an abundance of yellows.
Yeah, fortunately we were in front of it, so I don't know. Guys running over each other is probably the answer you're looking for, though. I just don't know who to tell you.
Any more question? We'll go to Jeff.
At what point does it become obvious that like everybody's just going to run into each other for the entire night? Like how early in the race does that become obvious to you?
When they build a racetrack and a football field, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to put on a show and be exciting, and maybe it got a little out of hand at times there with how rough it got. But yeah, I mean, we all knew when we heard about this event, whenever it was the first time, that we were going to come here and people were going to run over each other. It's too easy. It's funny, like, I don't know if guys are just okay with it or if that carries over to the rest of the season or if people forget about it or if that's situational. But, yeah, I tried to race super clean. I don't feel like we really used anybody up, and really nobody used us up. So glad I don't have it. I don't feel like I'm on anybody's list, and I don't have a list leaving here.
Any more questions for Alex? Anything upstairs? All right, Alex.
Welcome, Kyle Larson.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now joined by Kyle Larson, the fifth place finisher tonight. We'll start right with questions, and we'll go to Luis.
Luis towards the podium finish. It seems like throughout the night you were trying to battle very hard to get to that top 5. So how gratifying is it to leave LA just to getting that accomplished?
Yeah, no, it feels good to get to 5th. I didn't really work my way forward to 5th. It was just kind of battle of attrition, and I was just kind of stuck, which I'm sure a lot of people felt stuck, and I always wanted to choose the outside, but on the restarts, but everybody kind of in the middle of the pack figured out that the outside was better at the same time, and then it just never worked out where I could choose the outside lane, and just kind of got stuck in 10th for a while, and then yeah, kind of just got slammed from behind forward. So never really passed but 1 or 2 cars, and came from 14th to 5th.
Compared to last year when the race was in the daytime, obviously this year it's at night. Do you feel like as a result of the conditions changing, it brought the intensity levels, or there's something else to that intensity?
Was it more intense? I don't know.
Oh, let me clarify. Compared to the conditions, was it more treacherous because it was night, or not necessarily?
I don't think it really made a difference. I mean, the track surface felt a little grippier than I thought it would be at nighttime, and I don't know. There was just a lot more slamming around this time, and I think I was telling my PR people on the way down. I think last year was the first race with this car, and we didn't know how tough they were at the time. So there was not as much slamming. I think people didn't quite know how strong the noses and rear bumpers were, and this year it was just like everybody just ran through the person in front of them. If you got a hole to get down, somebody to get down, and then the 3 or 4 cars behind would just shove them through the 2 in front of them. So a lot of accordion and just difficult on the restarts, especially where I was middle of the pack.
We'll go upstairs for a question.
Hey, Kyle, Jenna Fryer. Some of that slamming you were talking about, some of the other guys have said that the hits still feel the same as they did last year. I don't know what your thoughts are on any hits you took tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I only had one moment last year that I remember where it was like, wow, that was a hard hit. I think we stacked up on a restart at Sonoma or something, and this was every restart you would check up for the guy in front of you and just get clobbered from behind, then your head just whipping around and slamming off the back of the seat. So I don't have a headache, but I can see how if others do. I mean, it's no surprise because it was very violent for the majority of the race. We had so many restarts, and like I said, every restart you're getting just clobbered, and then you're clobbering the guy in front of you. So you feel it a lot.
Go up here to Michael.
Michael Massey, front stretch. Kyle, I know you were critical of the wall riding when that happened, but is what was going on out there tonight, is that racing? Are you critical of that at all, or do you think that's good short track racing?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a product of this track and this car. I don't think you would see that style of racing with a previous generation car just because they wouldn't, be as strong. You'd knock the radiators out racing like that. So I think the cars are just so stiff that, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. Not saying it's right, but that's just the cars are built that way. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer it other than that.
Any other questions for Kyle? Once, twice, anything upstairs? Okay. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate the time. Okay, we'll start our winning team press conference, and we're now joined by the crew chief of the number 19 winning team, and that's James Small. If you have a question for James, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Start in the back here to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. What's this offseason been like for you guys after last year? Well, you didn't have any wins. You guys had speed, but again, no wins.
Yeah, we're just been like super excited to get going. Like the team, it's hard to explain. Like we never get down on ourselves, but everybody's just been super motivated to get back to the track, and we know what we're capable of. And Martin's a different person right now, and he's super motivated, and we're all behind him. And just we knew we could do this, and we just need to hit it right. And I think we learned a lot last year on. We had races where we had a lot of speed and things didn't go right, but we also had races where we made poor decisions. And I think we learn a lot. And, you saw when we get it right today is what we're capable of.
You said Martin is different. How so?
He's just super excited. I think he, last year was, a big disappointment for all of us. And he knows we're better than that. And he's just ready to get going. And we all just want to prove everyone wrong.
There's no points for this, and this is an exhibition, but is this a statement or anything like that?
I guess. Especially the way we started last year here, we were a bag of dicks. And to come back and, turn it around like that, that gives us motivation for all the tracks we go to. And, yeah.
Anything else for James? Go to Zach, then come up here to John.
Zach Sturdiolo, Nascar.com. James, congrats on this. How different, if at all, was the track this year compared to last year, and just how much different did you have to set up the car, just knowing what you learned throughout the entirety of the season last year?
Well, for us last year, throw it out the window. But, looking at, the good cars last year and versus the way it was today is very different. Just going into the night, it's way cooler. Track was a lot freer, which is kind of what we thought would happen when it cooled down. And just, it never got into those long runs until, maybe a little bit at the end there, but it was hard with all those refires, and you set your car up in one way, and it's the trouble with, the next gen car and, well, any car, but, you can work on your setup and have a philosophy, but depending on how the race unfolds, sometimes that might be completely wrong if it's all short run versus long run. And, thankfully at the end we got into a little bit more of a long run scenario. But, yeah, I think we've just learnt a lot. The whole field has learned a lot. You can see, everybody's a lot closer and handling better. And, yeah, it's 1 year, and I'm sure in another year we'll learn a lot more.
Go to John and then Jeff.
JohnNewBehavior.com. So following up on something that, Jordan asked, with the way that last year unfolded with there being constant, late cautions that would disrupt strong runs and then lead to a different person taking the lead, how satisfying was it for you guys that you're able to just survive all of these constant restarts and still, get to victory lane?
Yeah, no, it was. You know, it came across my mind there when the 34 brought the caution out at the end. I'm like, oh, here we go. It just seems like it's just the story of our life on the 19 car. And yeah, no, he did great. And, you know, we were battling a lot at the end with our brakes and things like that. And, you know, very, very satisfying to save, you know, all those restarts. And he did awesome.
Go to Jeff.
Is there room for this kind of racing, you know, for like an actual points race, not just an exhibition, or should a track this small always be an exhibition?
I think it should always be an exhibition. I'm not sure how, in the way our championship works and everything, I don't know how you could structure it to be fair to everybody to have that, you know, and how you're going to do competitive pit stops, or how you can't even fit the whole field on here. And yeah, I think it's better, in my opinion, whether that's right or wrong, it's probably wrong, that it stays an exhibition race.
Any more questions for James? We'll go to Michael.
Michael Matthews, front stretch. James, NASCAR used to have at one point an exhibition race like this in your home country. Could you ever see like a venue or anything there where they could do that again, or what do you think?
That would be really cool, but you know, obviously the Thunderdome's there. That is almost at a tear-down point. They still run cars around it, but you know, I think the expense though would kill it. You know, it's hard to even get an international, you know, music star to go out there. It's just so expensive to get out there, and as much as I'd love it, I don't think it'll ever happen in my day.
Anything else for James before we go to Martin? Anything from upstairs? Okay, James, congratulations. Thank you for your time. Okay, if you have a question for Martin, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. We'll start up front to John and then head to the back.
JohnNewBeHeavy.com. So I asked James this before he came in, but how satisfying was it for you that with all of those late cautions, you were still able to, you know, get the job done after last year and all those crazy situations that unfolded?
Yeah, it was definitely satisfying. I mean, anytime you win, it's, you know, obviously satisfying. But I had some good guys around me, you know. Austin and Kyle raced clean, and, you know, for the most part, I've never had really any big issues with those guys. So, I mean, you come to a track like this, it's pretty easy to just blow the corner and knock the guy out of the way in front of you. You know, no matter, it's just easy to do. So, thankful they didn't do that. They gave me a lap to get going, and obviously, you know, we were fast enough to drive away from them.
We'll go to the back to Jeff, then Jordan, then Zach.
Over the years, you know, you and Kyle might have gotten along the best or race each other the best of all the JGR teammates. Like, you guys seem to get it with each other. And I was kind of like, on that restart, I was kind of like, ooh, are things going to change now? Did that go through your head at all? Like, were you worried that he would race you any differently now that you're not on the same team?
No, I never thought about it once. You know, we had a really good race in our heat race today, and we talked about it after, and it was like, you know, hey, that was pretty fun. You know, we put on a little bit of a show for a heat race. You know, run side by side for the lead and swap it back and forth 2 or 3 times. So, you know, we've raced together for a long time. We understand the sport. I've got a ton of respect for Kyle, obviously, and I feel like he's one of the guys that gives it back to me. And you know, it goes all the way back to '04 when we ran for a championship against each other, and we probably didn't get along very well then, or we didn't cut each other many breaks back then. But I think we've all, you know, grown up around the sport and raced together a lot, and understand that, you know, we're going to be racing together a lot, and it's a lot easier to do things the right way and have that respect.
Jordan
Bianchi, The Athletic. Your crew chief, James Small, said that you're different this offseason. I'm wondering if you are different, and if so, how?
Mad.
Because of last year?
Yeah.
Which leads
just you know, just determined, and, you know, I mean, just have a lot of fire in my belly to go out and change what we did last year. You know, we had if you look at all the statistics, you know, we had a decent year. we were consistent. We scored a lot of points. We struggled on short tracks and road courses, which ultimately is what kept us out of the playoffs. But just so many times that we felt like we were doing the right things and probably should have won a couple races, and they got away from us. That was very, very frustrating. Knowing that we were, doing everything we needed to do to win, that sucked. So just wanting to go out and show them what we can do. We've been very fired up this off season, working very hard, all of us, and it's just nice when it all works out and you can come to the track and things go the way you hope they will. And hopefully we can do a lot more of that. We got a lot going on good in our camp at Toyota. I got a great team. I knew they were great last year, and we'll just see how far we can go. But I feel really good about things. So fired up and excited. And it's just a good feeling to be able to win a race. And even though it's not points or anything, it's good momentum.
You kind of touched on it there, but is this a statement in some way?
No, I just think for us it makes us, it reminds us that, we're doing the right stuff and we can still go out and win any given weekend. And we felt that way last year, but it never happened. So you always get those questions, right? Like, are we fooling ourselves or whatever? But it's just always nice when you finish the deal. And racing's funny, like we didn't really change anything. The way we do stuff, we just, try to focus and buckle down and say, okay, these are the things we got to look at and work on, and that's what we did. And, we had a little fortune tonight. The 41 was really strong. He had some issues, and, we've certainly been in that position a lot as well. So, not sure how that would have worked out if he didn't have issues. He was really strong. And then, the restarts just worked our way, and I was having tons of brake issues all night and throughout the second half of the race, so just lucky to be able to put it all together and hang on those restarts for sure with the brake issues I was having.
Go to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Martin, kind of along those same lines, what can a win like this, despite it being an exhibition race, do as far as momentum to carry into Daytona and to start this season on the right foot?
It's huge. I mean, it's a huge confidence booster. It just reminds you that you're doing the right stuff. And, honestly, we were probably the worst car here last year, literally, besides maybe the guys that didn't have charters. I mean, we were just god-awful, and we barely made the race, rode around in the back, and, I spun out by myself on the last lap. It was so bad, trying to pass one car. And, to come back here this year and be first in practice. And, I was honestly really nervous. Last night I went to bed thinking today was going to suck. It was going to be a long day because it's going to be hard to pass, and we were starting sixth in our heat on the outside. They only take 5. It's like, well, if you finish 5th, you're still going to suck in the race because you're going to start 20th, So to be able to drive up through the field in the heat and win that was just huge. It was a huge confidence builder, and I knew that after that, if we could just be smart tonight and stay up front all night, we'd have a shot at it. But yeah, it's a big deal. Any of these races are hard to win. All of them are hard to win. Doesn't matter if there's points or not. So we're proud of this one. It's a big deal.
Go right here.
Alan Basiahi, Eagle Broadcasting Net 25. At or about 24 laps left to go is when you took the lead, and despite a lot of restarts, really fought off the pack. Can you take us through what you were going through mentally and emotionally when you dropped the hammer? And also, now that you won this tight quarter-mile track, do you feel more confident driving through LA traffic?
LA traffic's no problem. It's just like Jersey traffic, but I hate traffic. I hate all of it. If I see it, I'm like, it sucks. I just want to hide, pull off the road, but I drive through them. But, on the restarts at the end, it's like, it's frustrating when you got a big lead, and then, like the 34 was trying to get off. He rode around like at 10 miles an hour for 3 or 4 laps. He should have just got off the damn track. You know what I mean? Obviously, he wasn't going to finish the race, so why was he just riding around? So that was frustrating. And then the other stuff, it's just, guys getting into each other on a tiny little track and getting spun out and things. So, the restarts, you're just trying to get a good jump and then not screw it up. Like I said earlier, I was having lots of brake issues. I'm not sure what was going on. Our rear brakes got too hot, or we did something and we lost all our rear braking, and I started locking up front tires getting in the corner, and I just kept putting more rear brake in, and I was about to be out of adjustment. I've never ever in my whole entire career put that many rounds of rear brake in a car. So I was a little nervous about that, and I was kind of locking up all 4 tires, getting in the corner and just trying to make the corner. So it was a little sketchy at the end, but everybody was out of tires, and we had so many restarts and so much air in our tires that everybody just kind of was slipping and sliding. So luckily, I was just able to get a good enough jump and get cleared, and then just try not to give it away and totally miss a corner.
Go right here.
Jerry Chang on Pepperdine Media. This is a very exciting event, even though it's preseason. What does it mean to you that you're participating in this event?
It's fun to come here, but it's a lot more fun to win it. You know, last year wasn't all that fun, so this weekend was a blast.
Earlier, you also said you're more determined. Is there any event that you have sort of a checklist so far this season?
You know, we'd like to win them all. We're 1 for 1 right now, so that's a good way to start. You know, Daytona 500 is a huge race. It's the biggest race of the year for us, and go there with momentum's great. You know, been really close there before. It'd be an awesome one to check off the list.
We're the last row here.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And apart from all the hard driving and hard work you put in today, just over the couple of days in preparation, even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, culminating today, your vibration, your thought, your perspective on the fans that turned out for the event tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. You know, it's a different venue for us, and it's kind of got a different vibe with all the things going on and the history around this place, and you know, like giving away the medals and doing the podium, and it's a unique event. It's a one-off deal, and it's you know, it's fun. We've done the Clash for a long time, and it's never really been kind of hyped up like it is now, being its own standalone event, and I think that's really neat, especially doing it somewhere totally different like here with a lot of history. So it was definitely it's definitely a lot of fun, and hopefully, you know, the fans keep supporting it and coming out, and you know, there's no telling what we can make this thing into.
A question upstairs.
Luis Torres, the podium finish. Congratulations, Mark. And with you being competitive this time around, did it in any way remind you of the Busch North days back then, where the beating and banging on a short tracks like these?
Yeah, it was funny. After Victory Lane, I was like, I've raced a lot of races that are 150 laps, because most of our races back then were 150s, right? And I don't ever remember one taking that long. So that felt like a 400-mile race. Like, it was forever and ever. Caution and caution, caution. So, yeah, we raced on a lot of tracks there was a lot of beating and banging like that, especially for me up front on those restarts. You know, how many times we kind of, you know, go back and forth. And it definitely reminded me a lot of those short tracks back in those days. But not really taking each other out, just running hard, rubbing a lot, and kind of getting out of shape. It was a ton of fun.
I believe there's another one upstairs.
Hey, Martin, Jenna Fryer, congratulations. You've said a couple times you had fun tonight. In the moment, the way that race was, as choppy as it was, the beating and the banging, is that fun?
When you're not getting spun around, turn around backwards, yeah, yes. You know, when you're up front and you're just kind of, you know, banging and beating, and you know, guys are sliding into the corner, making mistakes and all that, that's fun. It's no fun when you just get run over and turned around, which I feel like is a lot of what was going on with all the cautions. Luckily, we weren't involved in that. We had a few instances where it got close, but we were able to hang on. So, yeah. It's always fun to be up front and have a shot at the win.
Had you not won, would you still think it's fun?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I would have finished up front, which you know, there was a lot of points in the race where I felt like I didn't really have the car where I needed it to be to win, and I was still enjoying it. So to answer your question, yeah, as long as, I mean, nothing, you know, really stupid happened, I think I would have had fun most of the time.
Come back down here with Michael and then Jordan.
Michael Massey, front stretch. You mentioned Ryan Preece, 41 car, kind of being the only one that gave you a run for your money, pretty much. How shocking was that to see, you know, a driver you didn't race against last year, a car that's not typically up there, be the one that's like you're struggling to track down?
I'm not shocked at all, really. I mean, he's a great short track driver. You know, won tons of short track races, modifieds, et cetera. He's run a lot of races on tracks like this or similar to this, so I wasn't surprised at all. And I've raced with him before, and you know, he's in really probably better equipment now than he's ever been, and I'm sure he's got a really good team. So I wasn't surprised. And at that point in the race, I felt like my car was off, and you know, when he got the lead from us there, and or let's see, he didn't get the lead from me. I think I was second at the time. He got by me on a restart, then got the lead. So he was just really strong at that point in the race, and I didn't feel like my car was that good. For whatever reason, the second half of the race, it really took a long, long time for my car to get going, which it's kind of been that way all weekend, but it felt like the second half of the race was even more so. I think just because it was cooling off outside and the track temp was dropping, it was taking longer to come in. And, we were starting to get real equal to him, maybe a little bit faster when he started having his issues. So no telling what would have happened, but it was fun to race with him. He's a great kid, and he's a great talent.
Okay, we'll take two more. We'll go to Jordan and then wrap up upstairs.
Could this race be a points race here?
No. How you going to put all the cars out there? How you going to do pit stops?
Bristol, you don't have pit stops.
It's dirt. Different. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can get 36 cars. You going to put 36 cars out there? 38? Hell yeah. I think you do. What? Maybe somebody doesn't think you do. I don't make those decisions, but I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it should be, but it's such a great event. Why would you want to screw it up and make it a points race? You know what I mean? It's like a one-off deal. The Clash used to, since I've been doing it, it just kind of got boring, from back in the day when it was just pole winners from last year. Then it was, champions, and then it was, everybody that made the playoffs, and it just got all weird, right? And now this is really cool. It's got its own identity, fun race, all the way out here in a cool, venue that's got a lot of history. So I don't know. I think it's kind of got a good vibe to it now. Let's not maybe screw that up. And we have enough points races. How many are we going to have? Where are you going to take it from? No. Fontana's awesome. They'll figure somewhere out to go. Maybe.
And we'll close it out upstairs.
Sorry.
Nick Charles Curry, Annenberg Media. You mentioned track temps when talking about Priest. How much of a difference do you think that it taking longer for tires to come in the second half? How much of a contribution do you think that was to all the chaos in those first 10 laps?
Yeah, I would say that it was probably a big factor. The restarts. I mean, I felt like I was John Force out there all night, just smoking the rear tires. I mean, during the cautions, 2 or 3 times every straightaway, just trying to keep them warm. And everybody was doing that because it just, the tire's so hard, the track's, brand new pavement. It does not, these tires don't like to cool off. So, yeah, I would say that's a lot of it. You're just sliding so bad on restarts that, guys will get in the corner and can't, they're locking the brakes. They can't turn. They can't get the rear to hook up, so they're just sliding into each other. And that was, I'm sure, a big factor. Daytime racing probably would have been a little bit less as far as cautions go, I think.
Okay, Martin, thanks for the time.
All right,
Congratulations.
yep. Thanks, guys.
That'll wrap up our post-race press conference. As usual, the audio and transcripts will be on NASCARmedia.com when ready.